The New York Times is reporting on some great news regarding drug policy. They say, quote, sometime in the next few weeks, aides expect President Obama to issue orders freeing dozens of federal prisoners locked up on nonviolent drug offenses. With the stroke of his pen, he will probably commute more sentences at one time than any president has in nearly half a century. So what we're looking at here is more of what I like to call second-term Obama, which is the same Obama that did an immigration executive order, which I think was fantastic. He more or less got the framework of a peace deal with Iran down and ready to go. They're just ironing out the final details on that. And he's trying to get peace with Cuba as well. Another thing we think is fantastic. He's pushing for paid sick leave, paid maternity leave, and things like that. Again, all positive stuff. Now he's stepping up to the plate to deal with the issue of drugs, and he's adding to some stuff that he's done in the past. So far, Obama's done a total of 43 commutations in office, which is a lot historically. But you have to remember that every other president used pardons more. Now, a pardon sets you free and wipes your record clean. And, of course, the president can choose whoever he'd like to pardon. And a commutation either cuts your sentence or it sets you free and leaves your record the same. So it still stays on your record that you were arrested for a nonviolent drug offense, but, okay, now you're being released early. So the New York Times says the following, quote, the United States Sentencing Commission has revised guidelines for drug offenders, so far retroactively reducing sentences for more than 9,500 inmates, nearly three-quarters of them black or Hispanic. So that was another thing that Obama played a role in, which was fantastic, basically making it so that we can look retroactively at the sentences that were ridiculous, and we can do something about it, and we could try to let them out earlier. They say, in the next weeks, the total number of commutations for Mr. Obama's presidency may surpass 80, but more than 30,000 federal inmates have come forward in response to his administration's call for clemency applications. A cumbersome review process has advanced only a small fraction of them, and just a small fraction of those have reached the president's desk for a signature. Nonviolent inmates who have served more than 10 years in prison have behaved well while incarcerated and would not have received as lengthy a sentence under today's revised rules are the only ones who are being considered. So the idea is you have to make it politically ironclad so that if we're letting somebody go, Obama and his administration wants to make it so that the people on Fox News and all the conservative Republicans can't look at the people he let go and say, aha, letting go people who are dangerous to society, letting go people who are going to cause a problem in the future. And they even mentioned in the article Willie Horton. You remember Willie Horton? I think he was let go by Dukakis, and Dukakis, of course, eventually ran for president, and Willie Horton was using an attack ad against the Democrats to say, look at these weak-on-crime Democrats. They let this guy go, Willie Horton, who was in jail for some issue, and then he gets out and he committed murder. So we're tough on crime. We would never let that happen. That was the idea of the ad. And they say that, no, Democrats still think about this. They're like, we don't want the next Willie Horton to happen, so we want to make sure that whoever we let go is somebody that's so above any criticism that it would be crazy to criticize them. Now, here's the problem with that. They're being too cautious. I don't want to take anything away from Obama here because he is doing the right thing, and if he's going to commute the sentences of dozens of nonviolent criminals, fantastic. I applaud that all day long. But the problem is, like they explained, 30,000 federal inmates signed up for this program to ask for clemency. And only, however many it is, 80 or so people are actually going to get it. Now, I don't know if all 30,000 that signed up really are totally nonviolent drug offenders that we should, okay, let them go, no problem here, let's do it. I don't know if it's all 30,000, but it certainly is maybe half? About half of them are in that same boat where they really should be let go, and President Obama's only going to release like 80 of them, or maybe a little more? You're being too cautious because here's the reality. Fox News is going to fucking attack you either way. Republicans are going to attack you either way. Have you not noticed at this point that they're not using logic when they attack you? that they're going to attack you even when you agree with them on different things? You did their healthcare plan and they still fucking attacked you like it was socialism and a government takeover when it was definitely not. So what do you expect? They're not going to be rational in how they look at what you're doing. So why not, if they're going to do that anyway, step up to the plate and really do the right thing? Take every single nonviolent drug offender in America and say, you're free to go. Now, again, I don't know the exact number that would be. Certainly would be thousands. But why not do that? Why not do that? And then, by the way, have the history books look at you on this issue like they would look at you on other issues. Like, oh, historic, did something amazing, incredible. Let's praise this for as long as the United States exists. You don't think that would happen if you did something so courageous and right as, let's let go all the nonviolent drug offenders? Who cares? They're not really criminals. Of course, historically, the textbooks would look at you like, oh, hero. But it's classic Obama in many ways in that he's like, okay, let's do a little bit of change, but let's not go crazy here and, do real systemic fundamental reform. That would be out there. Well, I'm getting a little sick of the half measures. Like Dodd-Frank, for example. Oh, we re-regulated the economy after the Great Recession. Not really. You did very minimal reform, and then afterwards you took away all the different provisions of the reform. Yay! But see, he just did it so they can say in the history books, oh, he did reform, see? We had the Great Recession, and then they did reform, but it was really shitty reform. Obamacare, same thing. I'll give you credit for it because it's a step in the right direction, but it is the Republicans' plan. The only reason it looks so great is because our system was so disastrous that any change would have been good change. You should have got the public option. You should have pushed for it. You had a supermajority at the time. You should have, tried to get single payer or something like that. Again, just so we can get it in the history books. Oh, did the right thing. Yeah, but 10% of it. Okay, you get 10% credit. Yippee! Again, I don't want to take too much away from him because it is a step in the right direction, and the step in the right direction is better than standing still or going in the wrong direction. But here's an area where we know for sure he has the ability to just say, I'm going to pardon all of you, not even commute the sentences, pardon all of you, wipe it from your record, let's call it a day. He can do that. He's well within his authority as the President of the United States to do that, and he's not doing that. Again, it's a step in the right direction. 80-some-odd people now getting a commutation is better than none, but I would like to see thousands get it because we know that thousands behind bars are there unjustly because of nonviolent drug offenses, which shouldn't even be a thing.